Good morning, welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. Great to have your company as finals football continues to rush our way, and there's a smell of September in the air already. And isn't it wonderful that there's still so much uncertainty about the top 8, where teams will finish in it, in fact what teams will be there. Tigers have had a great couple of weeks leading into this weekend, of course. They have a chance to go to 5th if they can get over the top of Parramatta this afternoon. The Bulldogs still a chance, but really the story at the moment, South Sydney, 4 straight wins. They are alongside Newcastle, only out of the top 8 on percentages, and a man who's been a big part of that joins us this morning, joins Andrew Johns, Brad Filter and myself in Nathan Merritt, try-scoring whiz. Thanks for joining us, Nathan.
Yes.
Not part of Friday night. Can you take us through what happened in the warm-up?
Yeah, well, I just went for a bit of warm-up at trying to catch some high balls. One floated on me and I tried to stretch out for it, and I stretched my quad, so I didn't want to let the boys down. Had a little strain there, so,
Next week, okay, but?
Hopefully next week, yeah. Got a long week, to get a lot of physio on it, so I'm going to work hard with it.
Spoke to you during the week and you said your quad was a little bit crook. How confident were you going into the warm-up?
Yeah, I was confident, I went out there with totally, trying to chance myself to play. I wanted to play, and as you know, warm-up was a long warm-up. Try to stretch out for one of the kicks.
It's almost like half a football.
You've been playing fullback, and is it 8 tries in 2 games?
8 tries, 6 days.
Wow. Is that your position you feel like now?
Yeah, I feel comfortable at fullback. It gives me a chance to, roam around the field and pop up wherever I want to pop up. You don't have to stay on the wing, so you can hang around the ball players, especially when you've got a player like Isaac Luke and Chris Sandow and John Sutton, just hang around them sort of people and look for the offloads.
You ever scored 5 tries before?
Only in reserve grade, but that was a couple of years ago.
Only in reserve grade.
You've got a remarkable record. 180 first-grade games. You scored 120 tries in that period of time. That's my maths is right, 2 in every 3 games. I think I've mentioned a couple of times in South Sydney games before. In 2006, you actually were the leading try scorer the year that South Sydney finished on the bottom of the ladder with 22 tries, and that's after finals football and everything. I think it's one of the most remarkable achievements we've seen in our game. So Nathan certainly knows how to get over the line, but he's more than a try scorer. Very, very safe, and really I hope that there's some representative football in your future. But thanks for joining us this morning. Sit back and relax as we go to Tim Gilbert for his update.
Yeah, I'm one of the people who has always supported Nathan for an Origin jersey. How good would he be?
Friday night we had probably our best doubleheader of the year, and that's saying something. 2 two-point matches. South Sydney winning their 4th game in a row. They've scored 163 points in those 4 victories. But they had to go through Golden Point in this one. Joey and Freddie, you were there. A match where we get a bit of controversy at the end, I guess, but the Cowboys probably shouldn't have allowed it to get to that stage. They had this one won, maybe going into the final 10 minutes.
They're well in control, the Cowboys. I think with 7 minutes to go, they scored a try, South Sydney, then they come roaring home. But they're just full of confidence at the moment, you guys, aren't you?
Yeah, we're certainly full of confidence, we've got that never die attitude, so the boys never gave up, and, that last 10 minutes really showed how hungry we are to win the game, so, it's a great effort from the boys.
I thought it was, considering the conditions, it was real quality. There was great footy. Even watching the 20s game, there was some great tries in that, and they had awful conditions as well. And here's Chrissy Sandow, James Roberts. He had a fine game at the back. Nathan, in your absence?
Yeah, I think James was, played particularly well.
He's a local junior too?
He's from, I think he's from North Coast.
Okay.
They're coming in under them circumstances, I'm not prepared to play, but, just going there for the 18th man. Yep. Stepped in and played a vital role.
Of course, no Greg Inglis as well, and we just saw the intercept taken by Chris Sandow, who's obviously done his homework, because that's a pet Jonathan Thurston play. Dave Taylor setting up the try in the corner for Sandow to convert to send this to extra time. Yeah. His goal kicking in recent seasons, it's been an absolute revelation.
This was the talking point, Sterlo, on Golden Point here. Seguiaro hits Isaac Luke a little bit high, and Chris kicks the goal to win the game, but that was the big talking point out of the game.
Well, I didn't see the game as we had a look at the scoreline there, 26-24, 4 tries apiece, and in the end it was that penalty goal, the difference between the two clubs. But the 3 people I spoke to when I got back to Sydney on Saturday morning, I asked them, was it a penalty? And they said, yes, it should have been a penalty.
It's a penalty.
And in any other part of the game, you wouldn't bat an eyelid.
I think the fact that he took such a great dive. You nearly got to commend him, actually, to be able to think like that under the pressure of the game. He copped it, and he just took the dive within an instant, just took a dive.
Well, and the game accommodates him staying down. You know, that's the thing. I think you need to have a chat to Isaac and say, look, when it comes to the media, maybe don't, get mum to be a little bit quiet and maybe don't give away too much. But the game accommodates that. You know, if there's a chance, especially in the situation Souths are in, it's not a good look, and it's not a great thing that the players are saying stay down.
Glorious acting.
But the game allows you to do that.
Especially
at the
when
moment, the current
concussions these days.
Get him on underbelly. That's
Is a
great
real
acting.
concussions these days is a real serious subject, and watching players thinking they're concussed like that isn't a good look for me. I've got to commend South Sydney. Now, apparently, Greg Inglis didn't pass the concussion test leading in to the biggest game of their year, and then they said that he wasn't fit right to play. That is, for me, that shows so much strength in South Sydney and the team they end up picking, and they deserve the victory for that alone. I know as a coach, if Greg Inglis was concussed last week, I'd be saying, mate, we need to win this week. In the form he's been in, you'd be pretty tempted to put him out there. But I've got to say, South Sydney, fantastic job.
Well, in the absence of Nathan and Greg Inglis, Chris Sando continued his sparkling form. And look, the thing I've always loved about Chris Sando is if something doesn't happen, doesn't work, that's 5 to go. He doesn't go into his shell. And that's what makes him such a crowd pleaser and so dangerous. And I mentioned earlier, there's some homework being done. If you know Jonathan Thurston's going down the short side, you are a chance of coming up with that play.
And it was this effort, Sterler. He runs 90 metres here, and then they shift the ball to left and score. He kicks that goal under fatigue. He went to line up the kick on the 30-metre mark, and the trainer had to grab him and put him down on the 20-metre mark. He was that disorientated and under fatigue, and have a look at him. He's a genius. I love watching him.
I've got to say, the intercept was a real moment for me. Like, Jonathan Thurston come down with his favourite play down that blind side. He had the bloke on his hip, and then he had a bloke outside, Chrissy Sandow. And Chrissy Sandow picked him. If he had played tight, the bloke would have went straight through and scored in the corner. But that's the sort of courage he plays with, and it was just great to see.
I don't want to rub it into South fans, but he's going to look really good in blue and gold next year.
What's he worth now?
That's in the future, obviously. Now, both Neil Henry and Jonathan Thurston fairly animated after this game, as you would expect. And I think in the press conference, Neil Henry makes some really good points in other aspects of the game. Let's hear a snippet of what he had to say.
Where do you want me to start? 4-0 penalty count at the start of the game, 8-3 penalty count in the game. I refuse to believe that my side's that ill-disciplined that could be as lopsided as it is. 24-12, we probably shouldn't have let them. We're in a commanding position, and they, to their credit, kept trying and got a result. But I'll go through a benefit of doubt obstruction. Where's the doubt and obstruction try? If they're looking at obstructions, they're benefit of doubt. It's either a try or not a try, I would have thought. Two-man strip. In the act of scoring a try, he was a half a metre short of scoring the try. He's not over the line, he's not on the line, he's not in the in-goal. There's 2 on the tackle. It's a change of possession. He was short. So, first try, awarded off the bat. Deep pass back to the kicker. 2 men on the inside line, I think 1.5 metres in front. They get within 10 metres. Don't bother going upstairs. Just award the try. And I think that most rugby league followers out there would think that the way they end the game on that particular penalty is marginal at best.
Yeah, obviously very disappointed, but I think he'll go away from that believing that with the lead that they had going into those closing minutes of the game, it was a match that North Queensland allowed get away from. Congratulations to South Sydney. They have certainly added some excitement to this finals charge, and it continues again next week. A couple of huge games, actually, for the Rabbitohs coming up in the final 2 rounds. What's Melbourne are the deserved favourites? How do you see this competition at the moment?
Melbourne, they're showing that they're number 1 team at the moment. So, but I think the competition's wide open. I think anyone can win on any given day. I think we can beat any team in the competition when we turn up, and we've got the right attitude and we turn up with the play. So, I think it's pretty wide open, I think, though.
Well, there's no shortage of attitude